Hey everyone, what I would like to do in this video is show you the GoXLR. This is an audio interface, it's a sampler, it's a mixer, it's a de-esser, it's a compressor, it's got an EQ, it's got a noise gate. It's an all-in-one device which is primarily aimed towards game streamers and Twitch streamers and that kind of thing. Now, I will give my overall opinion on this in a separate video, but in this video what I would like to do is show you how this works, show you what it offers, and give you a better understanding as to what you could use this for. So right now I'm actually recording via a separate audio interface, a different one, which is over there. But I will switch to the GoXLR, and then you can see everything being controlled from here. Now, I just want to show you the back of the GoXLR first, if I get it aligned, okay? So you can see that there is an XLR input. There's only one, unfortunately. I really do think they should have added two, but you can add different mics. There's a line in input, there's a mic input, so there's 3.5mm connections for your line in, mic in, your phones, and there's a line out port as well. There's a Kensington lock, then there's a USB cable, there's an optical in cable, which they have designed it for bringing the audio in from a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One, but you could use it to bring in audio from any audio interface. And then at the end there is DC in. So this has to be powered from a plug, a wall adapter, but then you also have to connect it to your computer. Now, I did do a separate video yesterday. It's quite a long video showing you how you can connect other microphones such as the Blue Yeti. You can connect additional mics using audio interfaces, using the mic in input and using the line in port and all that. So I'll leave a link to that if you want to find out more about how you can expand this and connect more than one microphone. But what I would like to do, as I said, is show you this. Now, what I will do is I'll connect my other mic first, and then I will connect USB. But obviously at this point I have not powered it, so I'm going to power it on and you'll see what happens. So that's what it does, and then it should at one point switch to my profile. There you go. So it switched to my profile now, which is why the faders have all went to my position, but you can obviously mute them and things like that as well. So what I'm going to do is switch headphones. I'm going to switch to this microphone on here, and I'll show you what it will be like via the if I can pick the right one here. I'll show you what the recording is like through the GoXLR. So you might have heard me in stereo there for a second, and right away I can feel my audio is a little bit low, so I'm going to bring it up a little bit higher. So I've got the audio up higher now. Now, the audio is at a good level just now. I've spent a couple of days tweaking many different things with this to give me a better understanding as to how this works and, you know, what it can do and all that. And it takes time to actually get there, to get your microphone at the right level. But when you get it there, yeah, things generally work okay. Now, what I'd like to do is just give you an overall impression as to what this is about. But with regards, like, for example, just quickly do a rundown. What you've got here, you've got microphone, headphone, game, and I've got Firefox. But basically, these can all be changed. And I'll show you this via the app very soon. But essentially, these four ports here can all be changed. These can all be changed, and you can put them to whatever you want. And essentially gives you four faders. So I can change my headphones there, make it louder and quieter. You can change the game audio. I've set up as Firefox so that, for example, if I was listening to audio via a YouTube video, I could have turned it up or down or simply muted it. That is an option. Up here, you've got all these presets for different samples, etc. And if I zoom down, maybe I'll show you that a little bit better. And then you've got pre-made ones here, hard tune, robot, megaphone. Now, you can see the top here, pitch. This is the one I've been using a lot. So, for example, pitch all the way to the left will be a deep voice, but it's not until you hit the effects button that it actually makes your voice deep. So if I push that now,
my voice goes deep.
And that's all deep again. Now, if I go all the way to the other side, it's going to be the complete opposite.
And then my voice is squeaky. So
yeah, this is a little bit silly, but can you imagine this being popular with streamers where they want to
talk funny like this?
So some of the features like that are pretty cool, I would say. If you want to make
your voice deep.
If you want to, for example, make your voice sound like a robot or a megaphone, there's lots of different things that you can do. I've kind of just, messed around with this. There's a lot of different effects that you can apply to your voice in that respect. One of the things that I really do like is the beep. I think that it's a simple one, but I think if you're during a call and someone starts swearing, you can and do that. Simple effect, but it does work quite well. That one, does that one do? Oh, that was muting my mic there. Yeah, I was forgetting what that was doing there. So that big large purple one just quickly mutes the microphone. I was wondering why that was there for a second, because I was double checking, because it does also have the mute button for the microphone for the gain level. But yeah, that will mute your mic button. So that's quite useful if you're, during a stream and someone wants to speak to you, you can hear me again when I release it. So that's quite a useful button. I think I used that during a stream the other night. I think I did. At one point, I can't remember why, but I did. But I was second guessing that for a second because I covered the microphone. I'm like, why is that button there again? But yeah, down the bottom, you've got a sampler. And for example, here, I've just put in a couple of Homer Simpson things.
Go! I am the champion.
So I've set it up so that if you press the button again, it stops, but you can change it so that it will keep looping.
Out of my way, jerk ass! To start.
So there's different things you can do that, which, you can set up whatever you want, whatever you think would be funny during a stream. Now you've got 3 different ones here, so essentially you've got 12 buttons you can do, and you can clear them at any time. Now I've set it up so that red means that there's nothing there, but what you can do is basically hold on to the button and you can sample something. That's how it works. You hold the button, it will sample whatever you're saying. And now that it's blue, hold on to the button, and you can hold on to the button. And then I've cleared it now by pushing clear and then going into it. Now, obviously, that would have got very annoying very quickly, but you can see, how this could work, because someone, for example, your friend could be phoning you. You could connect your phone to the back of the GoXLR. You could connect it, and then you could sample them when they're talking, and then create a sample from what they said. So there's a lot of things like that that you can do. But really, this breaks down into 3 different areas. You've got the mixer and the faders here. The faders here, so you can control 4 inputs, essentially here. Then you've got your sampler here. You've got your beep and your mute mic button. And up here, everything here is about controlling your voice and modifying your voice. So when you first look at this, you're like, what does all of this mean? But it's pretty simple. And, well, I was saying there that it's 3 different things, but you can see with the outline, they've separated these 2 as separate. So they've got the 4 faders, the voice modification, the sampler, and then they've got the beep and the mute mic button separate. But I would say these are the 3 main areas. These are just kind of extra things. So it does work okay. It takes a while to get used to it. You're going to have to spend a day kind of messing about with things and getting your settings correct and all that. But the one thing you do need to do is use the app. Now, this doesn't require firmware. You actually have to install the app. The app, it's not just a driver. You need to install the app, and the app has to be running at all times, which not something I agree with, but there you go. Where have I got it? Here we go. So this is the app, and this is the Windows app that you can download, and you can set up this in a lot of different ways. You do need to spend time messing about with this. This really is how this is controlled. This is really how, once you've got it set up, you use this to control everything, but the app is how you change everything. Now, at the top left here, you can see I've got different profiles. The main profile is the one that I've set up, but the other ones are the ones that are set up by the GoXLR itself. And when you install it, it'll install these profiles for you. Sleep. You can see it put everything to sleep there. Now, sleep is something that was added because this didn't have it before. There's no on-off switch at the back of this. You need to keep it plugged in, and there was nothing like to put it to sleep. There was nothing to turn the lights off, which is why they've added this sleep profile. They've added a few other profiles there as well. And you can see the colors are changing at the same time when I change those. I've just kind of I'm not saying mine's the best color scheme, not by a long shot, but you can see that there's a lot of different things going on there. On mine, I was just messing about with the colors. Now, there's a lot of things that you need to kind of set up here. One of the most important things is the mic. Now, if I jump over to my Samsung monitor, I'll minimize some of these windows here. Right. Okay, so that's a little bit better now. So if I get this out of the way, you can see this in full. So you've got mic set up here, right? You get mic set up, and you can choose between a dynamic mic, a condenser mic, and a 3.5mm. Now, the microphone that I'm using is actually dynamic, but because I'm using a FET head, which requires phantom power, I have to select a condenser. But you can see that I can put this up or down, like so, and it tells you when you're clipping. So when it goes red, you'll be clipping. The level I've got it set up just now seems okay. It's not too bad. So I'll just keep it set at that. But that's where you will change your mic. Now, you can't have... This is important to recognize. You can't have an XLR input and a mic input at the same time. It has to be one or the other. You can't have both. You just can't have both. So you need to have one or the other. So maybe I'll bring this out a little bit like that. So what I mean by that is that if you, for example, plugged in your Blue Yeti and you plugged it into the mic input, you couldn't use that and this microphone. The Blue Yeti would have to go to the line in input if you wanted to use it in that way. But then you've got here, which I think most people would say is the main part of the mic setup. You've got the gate, you've got the equalizer, you've got the compressor, and you've got the de-esser. And I'm not claiming to be an expert on this, but GoXLR, I've got a really good tutorial about this. It's like 20 minutes long or something like that. And the guy goes through every aspect of this and telling you what each part of it does. But, you know, the basis of it is that the gate will determine how much will be allowed to come through your microphone. So right now I've got it 44, but if I put it to 0, you'll hear a lot more background noise. So I've kind of set up at a level where, and this is what you want to do, you want to set this up at a level where most of your background noise is gone. Then you've got the equalizer. This is an area where I'm really scared to mess about with because it starts affecting how your voice sounds, which is what some people want. Some people want a more bassy voice. Some people want, you know, a different style. I've just left it alone because I like the way my voice sounds through this microphone, so I'm happy with it. You've got a de-esser as well, but the compressor is probably the biggest thing. The compressor, what it will do, will stop you from peaking. And what it will do here is, you've got the threshold. I wouldn't probably change the attack or release. I would probably keep those, you know, the same. But the threshold, effectively what that means is everything over -5 decibels will be compressed at a ratio of 8:1, which makes it nigh on impossible to peak at that level, because everything above the -5 decibel level will be compressed to such a level that it will only go up to like 4 decibels or something like that. It will make your voice really... It changes that a little bit at the very, very, very high end, but effectively what it's there for is if there was anything, a loud bang, a noise, or anything that shouldn't be there, it will not peak, it will not clip and cause any problems. But again, don't listen to me on this aspect of it. What I've done is followed their guide, and I've messed about with the settings enough so that I've got it working for my environment. And it does depend on what, you know, you need to do. If you're in a warm country, you've got air conditioning going, you'd probably set the gate a little bit higher than I would, because I don't have that running in the room. But today, interestingly, I've got a man outside sawing, and he's got a drill or something, and he's making a hell of a noise. So I would maybe have to set the gate a little bit higher today than normally. So there's a lot of different options there which you can set up. I think they're quite useful as far as changing your recording and changing how your environment is and all that, and changing... well, really what it's doing is allowing you to use the mic in a lot of different environments, because if you don't have a compressor, if you don't have all these extra little tools, then you're going to pick up a lot of background noise, or you're going to, you know, clip, and you're going to do all these different things. And this is where the GoXLR comes in, and it helps you adjust your audio. Now, along here, I've got the mixer. Now, the mixer refers to these 4 faders. So you can see them there, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see I can mute those, and the fader goes up and down. But if you look down here, you can see there's channel 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, at 4, I've got it set as music right now, but I can change it to voice chat. So if you're playing a game and you want to put the voice chat in, you can change it to that. You can change it to game audio from the optical in cable. You've got a line in, you've got system sounds, you've got sample, you've got headphones. You can set it, you know, there's like 8 or 10 different, there's, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 different things, I think, there. And you can pick 4 of them and put them onto the faders. So you have to pick what's the most important thing to you and then dictate it there as far as what you control there. And for each of these, you can control the icon at the top. You can control the description. So, for example, if I look at the top one here, I've got the option at the bottom there, mute all, mute to stream, mute to voice chat, mute to phones. And then you can change the actual settings for each of these line in ports, as far as what's the level of the mic, what's the level of the chat, what's the level of music, what's the level of game. So despite the fact, you know, the GoXLR setup is that you've got 4 faders and you control everything here, but you can see here through the app, you can still go in and tweak the line in. You can still go in and make the beep sound less loud. You know, you can bring that volume down as well. You really just want to set up the 4 most important ones here. But there's certain things that I would always put here, such as the microphone and the headphones. Now, I've set up game and Firefox there, but to be honest, once I've got the game audio at a particular level, I'd probably keep it on all the time anyway. But some people would like to put the volume up and down. I would probably put line in there if I was using it, you know, on a daily basis. I'd probably have microphone, headphones, line in, and then maybe system sounds, so that if there's any loud system sounds, I can turn them down. But the good thing is that you can change this at any time. You've then got your headphones level at the end there as well. So that's all the different audio levels that you can control, and you can control them all, and it'll change how you actually use this. Now, the lighting this is all really related to the aesthetics of the GoXLR. And if I jump over to my overhead camera, and I'll try and show you the window again. Can I show you the window? There we go. Right, so I'll put this over here, and this might give you a better understanding as to what's going on here. So if I go down a little bit, maybe you can see that a little bit better. It's the bright color. You can't really see that there because of the bright color, but yeah, it does say microphone there. But if, like, let's change number 4, for example. I've got here as Firefox, right? But I can change this to green, red, pink, white, blue, back to orange. And you can change the icon. You can upload any icon you want. I've uploaded an icon of Firefox. You can see I've picked Mario there, which you can't see just now. But yeah, you can see I've got different things there. You can drag and drop your own ones in, or you can pick from headphones and light bulb and different things. There's preset ones there that you can pick. And for example, I could pick that. So I've got a musical symbol now. So now I've got the musical symbol, and you know, that's what's going to be displayed here. I've got text that you can write any text that you want. You can see there, rename. You can't see that, sorry, because it's not showing any pop-ups there. But yeah, you can see that I can rename it there. And yeah, you know, everything gets changed on the fly. That's the important thing to note there. It all gets changed on the fly. As soon as you make a change there, it's shown on your GoXLR. You can change text size and all that, and then you can change the color of the fader. So what that's talking about is the fact that's orange down the bottom there, but I can make it blue, purple, anything, and then it goes up like that. And what it will do is essentially a gradient, and it shows you a gradient between the color that you pick for the bottom and the color that you pick at the top. So that's going from purple all the way to yellow, and it's really, really nice the way that it works. It's a really nice display. I know these colors are not for everyone. Some people might not like that, but you can set it up in a very basic way if you want, as far as colors go. Yeah, then you've got dim color and all that as well. So there's a lot of different options there as far as lighting goes. You can set this up as funky as you want or as plain as you want. But this whole area here, it's really about setting up your faders, your channels, and setting up your audio levels. and how it sounds through the headphones, etc. And then how you control it through these faders. In the next section here, you've got effects, and these are all, and just to show you again, I didn't point this out earlier, but see the top left, you've got the profiles, which I showed you earlier, samples and all that. These are the audio files I've uploaded. Then you've got presets, hard tune music, etc. But the good thing is that if you click up here, it will default to the correct setting. So whenever I click on anything like that there, it will default to the correct setting at the bottom. So say I want to know how to adjust that, and then I want to know how to adjust that. It will just automatically change. So they're calling that part down their system. Up here's the effects. Down here's the sampler. And yeah, you just click on it. So that's something to note as well. You can just click on it at the top and it will change to whatever you're modifying. So it's pretty useful, that I would say. Yeah, just change it like that. So that's jumping to the presets there. If I go back, I'll go to that, and then there we go. So we've got all these preset groups: big verb, comms, radio, and what that's referring to is these lights, and you can see them changing in color there. And it's just presets. You know, you've got reverb, pitch, echo, and gender, and these are just presets that you can change to switch to your favorite 6 settings between them all. So I can do that and change.
And then I can talk like this.
And then I can talk like this.
And I can talk like this. Oh my god, this is weird.
And then I can just keep changing to the ones that I want. This is an area where I've kind of messed about with it a little bit, but yeah, it's not like I've spent ages on that. I've just been messing about with it more than anything, just playing about with it like a toy. But you can see there's a lot of kind of styles here: library, music club, real plate, chapel. So say number 1 here, and it says
Hello?
so that's got, if you go to big verb, you've got reverb set hockey arena, but I could set that to chapel, bring up the effect, and then
I talk like this as if I'm in a chapel.
now the pitch, because the pitch is set up there, narrow, I could bring this round, and you can see it's changing there, and I could bring it all the way around, or I can just leave it as 0, and now I sound like I'm in a chapel and I don't have a deep voice. So you can set these up any way you want, and you know, I could sit here for hours basically going through each part here, but you can set it up any way you want. You just have to go through each of these and see what suits you. But you can see there, reverb, echo, pitch, and gender. It all refers to these 4 dials. And when you change it here, it will change the lights there, and it will adjust it accordingly. So you can change it there or there. You can see both go up. It doesn't matter which one you use. And yeah, you need to mess about with it until you get the 6 presets that you want. But you can change it just on the fly anyway if you want. You've got presets as well. Hard tune, robot, and all that. And you can change how those ones are set up. So those ones are referring to megaphone, robot, and hard tune. And you can change those as well. As far as what's the best setting here, it really is up to you. I've seen a lot of people set these up in a very different way. There's going to be a sweet spot as far as which ones sound really good together, but there's enough presets, there's enough things set out for you already to get you started to help you get going with this. Once again, you can go into each of these, change the color. So there's number 1. I can change that to yellow at the top there. See the very top? I'm changing that to yellow. So change that to red now. So that one's changed to red. It's maybe not coming through. It's more kind of orange there, but yeah, maybe that's red now. But you can go through and change all the colors. You know, the color when it's on, the color when it's off, and all that. There's lots and lots and lots of effects there. And then we've got the sampler. So the sampler is referring to this part down at the bottom, and this is what I was showing you earlier on. So what I've set them up just now, I've got top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, but then you can go A, B, C, so it gives you 12. Then I've got the function play stop, which means that I can go
Yeah.
and that just stops it. But what I can do is you can put it on a loop. Play next, that's what you want.
I am the champion.
Or play fade, maybe that's one. So you can change what happens there. Like before, oh sorry, I'm changing the wrong one, that's why. I'm pressing the wrong button there. So bottom right.
Out of my way! Out of my way! Out of my way! Out of my way, jerk! Out of my way, jerk ass!
So the other way, if you do play stop,
Out of my...
it just stops, but you can do loop.
Out of my... Out of my... Out of my way! Out of my... Out of my...
And really it comes down to whether you want it to keep pressing the button going brrr, or whether you want it to fade on release.
Out of my way, jerk ass!
And it'll, you know, fade into the distance. I've been doing the play stops for the longer ones, so that if it's a longer one, you can stop it, because obviously that's a long clip. You don't want it to keep repeating. But this is the area where you do it, and you can just upload the sample there. It will bring up a box. You upload your sample in this area, and then yeah, you can upload as many as you want. And again, with the lighting, do 100% what you want with the lighting. Very, very easy to set up. Once you get it all sorted and once you understand how it works, it really is good how it works. But these other ones, I've set it up so that from a lighting point of view, I've set up so that if the sample is empty, I've got it red. So I can see here right away, oh, this is red, there's nothing there. But I can hold it in, I can record a sample, and now it's blue. I can hold it in, I can hold it in, and then I can create a sample. And obviously that's not a very good sample to use there, but it just shows you how you use it. You just hold down the button, then you can create your sample, and then you can come back and refer to it at any time. It's pretty cool how it works. I'll jump ahead to the system just now, go back to routing, but system is just the beep button, and you've got the mute button there as well, so you can't hear me there. So yeah, those are the system settings, quite useful. And again, you can change the colors and all that as well. No problems there. Pretty cool. So the last part here down at the bottom here is routing. Now this is where it gets a little bit more confusing, but it's really related to the inputs and how they're actually being activated per se. Now what I've done, I've just stuck with the defaults. Now I did look at the tutorial, I did look at how the routing works, but the routing seems to work in a very specific way as far as if you, for example, are connecting something into the line in, that's when you would go in and make sure that the line input is going to the right output and all that. I think that most people wouldn't mess about with that too much. They want to have the headphones activated at all time. They want to have the broadcast stream activated at all time. But the line out, maybe they want to deactivate it for certain aspects. And with the chat mic, maybe you want the chat mic limited to certain outputs as well. I don't claim to be an expert on this area because I messed about with it a little bit, and then I realized that I was kind of doing something wrong. So I went back to the default settings. I think for most people, what you'd want to do is just keep it at the default settings. But there are examples in the manual that says if you want to route this cable into it using an align in port and then route out to this output, then you set it up this way. And that's when you need to mess about with that. Again, I'm not an expert on this, but they do have like a breakdown as to which ones you have to select for which setup. If you're connecting a Blue Yeti or if you're connecting that. I found that the default settings that they've got seems to work for all of my recording situations. But if, for example, you want to capture chat from your PlayStation 4 or something like that, you might have to mess about with that. I don't know. It's not something I've dived deep into that much. But for my recording setup, the default setup with routing seems to work really well. So yeah, I would check the manual and only really mess about with that if there's something not working. Then you refer to the manual and say, okay, why is this line in cable not routing to the correct output? So yeah, I would look into that. So as you can see, I just want to quickly summarize the software again. You've got the profiles at the top left there. You've got the samples that you've uploaded. These are just, that's the sample recorded. Please select the sample. That's Homer Simpson. That's Homer saying boobies. We've got champion. And these are all saved at the top. We've got a number of presets as well. These are the ones that are saved from the presets that were designed with the interface itself. These are all at the top left there. And then it's all just down the bottom. At the top, the image there just really helps you get to the setting that you want. Most of the settings are at the bottom. So at the bottom, you've got your mic set up. And that's obviously one of the most important things. Then you've got your mixer, which is your fader here. Then you've got the effects down, the top right, sorry, that's for the voice. Then you've got the sampler down the bottom. You've got your routing inputs and outputs. Then you've got the system. Now, as far as importance goes, I would say right off the bat, the first thing you really want to get going is your microphone. And you do need to try and mess about with this and find out which is the best way to set it up. I would say, generally speaking, follow the guidelines of the video. Like, I've kind of followed what he said, but there's certain things I would recommend to people. I would say don't mess about with the de-esser too much at the start. I would say don't mess about with the EQ too much at the start. I would say get your threshold at -5 or something like that, -3, -10 or something, whatever you want, and then set your ratio from between 41 to 81, 8 to 1. But you'll need to tweak that yourself. It depends on what you're recording. The hardest thing at the start you'll need to get is the gate. That's the part you want to get going. And the attenuation will be like, you know, how much is... You can hear my background now. So the attenuation and the threshold are two of the main ones that you want to try and mess about with to get the settings that you want. The release refers to how much it kind of fades back in as far as letting that background noise back in. But again, refer to the official tutorial about that. The official video tutorial about that is really good. Just sit back, watch it 15-20 minutes or something, and just go through the guide as to how you set it up. I've got mine set up for the most part exactly how I want it. Doesn't seem to be picking up any background noise. It seems to be compressing the audio okay, which means that I don't clip. And most things do seem to be okay in that regard. But it does depend on your recording environment, because if I use this somewhere else, if I use this in an apartment in a city that's busy with more noise, I might have to start putting the threshold and different things up. And if I go to a country house somewhere with not a lot of noise there, I can bring a lot of these levels down. So it really does depend on your recording setup. Also does depend on the microphone, condenser or dynamic. This is a dynamic microphone, so it does depend on the equipment that you're using and the environment that you're recording in. So yeah, just mess about with it. You should be able to get it the way that you want it. At first, you know, the first few minutes I was using it, I'm like, this doesn't sound right. But when you really want to set it to the point where you're removing the background noise, and then just put it up a little bit more, and then just kind of leave it. You don't want to mess about with it too much in that regard. Now, the app, I would say the app works quite well. The problem I've got with the app is kind of a personal thing where it just pops up at the start. There's no way to minimize the window. Well, you can minimize it to your window, but when you can't not start it on Windows, which is a little bit annoying. It just pops up in the middle of your screen. As soon as you start Windows, boom, GoXLR. There's no settings at the moment to allow you to only start it when you say. You can minimize it. If I show you this here, if I click on X, there's an option to minimize and exit, and this will minimize it to my tray. But when my computer starts, when it starts up, this just pops up immediately, right in your face before anything else is loaded up. This loads up. A little bit annoying that it's set up that way, but you know, it's not a deal breaker because you just have to plug out the USB cable. But even if you plug out the USB cable, this will still pop up. You'd have to actually uninstall it, which, yeah, this is clearly a setting that annoys me. As I'm trying to be not too harsh, but it does annoy me. As far as, you know, changing things in that though, they give you a few options with the profiles and all that, and once you start off with that, just use that as a template, and then you can start changing things. And if I jump over here, I'll turn this window off just now. So I just want to give you a quick overview finally as to what this is all about. I've kind of got this back to front. Here we go. So you've got your XLR input, and the XLR and the mic input, you can use either or. It will default to one of these. You cannot use both. You can have two things plugged in, but you need to select either the dynamic or condenser from here or the 3.5mm. You cannot do both at the same time. You can do a line in at the same time as these two. You can send the signal out with line out, and you can use the optical in. So you do have some options. There is some amount of flexibility there as far as how you set things up. But yeah, you just can't use the two mic inputs at the same time. Once you get all these going, you know, when you get the mixers going, when you get the colors going, you start to realize that this is quite a flexible little device. But whether this is the device for you, it depends on what you're doing. It depends on what you're doing during your stream and all that. But I hope I've shown that this is a device that is fairly easy to understand. I'm not an expert on the routing system yet. You probably got that impression when I was talking about it. I messed up the settings when I was, you know, clicking things on and off, and then I went back to the default settings. I think that for most people, the routing settings, when you're talking about, you know, switching inputs to which outputs and all that, I think for most people, you really should just leave it at the default settings until you run into any problems where something isn't working. But then what I would also say as well that I've not covered yet is that when you're in Windows, you've got the option for a broadcast stream, but you can also route audio for the sampler and for the game audio and different things. There's like 4 or 5 different things you can do, like music. So you've got like 5 output sources. It saves you from having to use something like Voicemeeter. But on the whole, I would say that this, once you know, when you first use this, the first minute or two of using this, the first couple of hours, you're a little bit perplexed by some of the settings. But when you actually play around with this, it's a very easy device to use. Once you've got it set up, once your mic is set up, once everything is connected and you've got all your colors set up, actually using it during a stream is very, very simple. The compressor seems to work quite well. I'm not able to peak. Like, I could shout right now, oh, and I can't change my audio levels. I can't go above and peak and clip, which is good. That's what you want. That means that the compressor is working. So the compressor works. I've kept the de-esser to a minimum. The noise gate is something that I've been tweaking the settings in and out. I seem to have it at a level now where it doesn't pick up noise level. So for example, just to kind of go over the noise gate again, just for one last thing. If, for example, I put the noise gate too low, you hear that? It starts picking up noise from the table. It starts picking up noise, you know, from different things on the table. And this is where it starts making my microphone, certainly through the headphones, sound a little bit strange because it's picking up the background noise and emphasizing it and all that. But this just means that you need to set the gate, the amount, and the attenuation line. You need to adjust those until you're at a point where those things aren't getting picked up. Once you get those set up the way that you want it, yeah, it's all good. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys have a better understanding as to what this is all about, how it works. It's quite a big device, which is good in some ways. One of the things I would say is that it doesn't sit up too high, but that's okay. They're actually coming up with a stand so that people can adjust it. So that's something they are addressing. But there's a lot of things I like about this. There's a lot of things I don't like about it. And I will cover those in the next video in my overall review. But I hope you guys have got a better understanding as to how this works now. This is an audio interface. It's a mixer. It's a sampler. I've been finding it hard to, you know, quantify what this actually is because it's so many things in one. I can see why this is so popular with streamers because it fixes so many different problems. So stay tuned for my final review, but I hope you found this video useful. Please do refer to the official tutorials, refer to the official manual. If there's something that you're not sure of when you're using this, the manual covers most things and the video tutorials covers the rest as far as routing and all these things. So do check those out, play around with it, have fun with it, and I'm sure you'll figure out how to get it set up for your setup. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for the next one. Until then, take care.